Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Aurora Smedley podcast, where I speak with you about what the world needs to hear. And in today's episode, I'm going to be discussing 3 Jedi mind tricks to transform your internal world, your emotions, and your thoughts. So I'm so excited to share this with you because these are things that I've not really discovered anywhere. I discovered these through my own experience of severe depression. I experienced that for about 4 years. And during that time, I was looking for everything possible to shift my internal world, and nothing was really working for me. So because of that, I immensely value the things that can actually change that. And these are the things that I have found to be the most effective at shifting my internal world, and I look forward to hearing how it changes things for you. But before I discuss these Jedi mind tricks, I want to point out one distinction. And this distinction is that the opposite of negative thoughts is not really positive thoughts. The opposite of negative thoughts is no thoughts. So I think a lot of people think that, okay, if I have negative thoughts, I need to change to positive thoughts. So I'm going to try to inject positive thoughts all over my negative thoughts and do this fisticuffs battle with my negative thoughts in order to shove them down and replace them with positive thoughts. And I'm going to go in and do my affirmations every single day. And maybe this works for some people. I did not find this to be effective for myself. But what I've found is that the alternative to negative thoughts is actually not negative thoughts. It's zero thoughts. It's clearness and emptiness of the mind. Your mind becomes actually relatively empty. It's kind of drifts around, but it doesn't really churn in the same way that I think so many people these days experience. Without any further ado, let's get into these 3 most effective Jedi mind tricks that I've found. So the first Jedi mind trick that I want to share with you is something that I think people have some awareness of, but they don't actually know how to incorporate it effectively. And this is what I'm going to call recentering, or specifically returning to your locus of control. So what this means is that a vast majority of our mental duress actually comes from sending our energy, sending our attention, sending our focus to things and places where we have no agency, where we have no control, where we are powerless. And that is essentially sending our energy to other people, other places, and other times. This is, for example, getting worked up about the politics, about climate change, about the environment, about what my dad's doing, what my brother's doing, what my sister's doing, what my mom's doing, what my boyfriend's doing, what my dog's doing, what all of these things are doing, right? And while we may have indirect control over these people or society or climate change, etc., there's only so much that you can do. And by worrying about all of these, by getting upset about all of these, you're actually sending your energy away from you. You are sending energy outside of your locus of control, rather than keeping your attention, your energy, and your focus on the places where you have direct agency. The next idea with this locus of control is understanding that a lot of our mental duress also comes from sending our energy into the future or into the past. So past regrets, future anxieties, by getting ourselves worked up about the future or worked up about the past, we're sending our energy outside of the present moment, and preventing ourselves from having a higher level of efficacy in the present moment. And this includes positively imagining the future. This also includes positively thinking about the past in the form of nostalgia. If you are too focused on the past or the future, then you are actually preventing yourself from immersing in the present moment to a greater level of efficacy. All change happens effectively in the present moment, not at any other time. And it is in the present moment that you have direct control, whereas you do not have direct control over the past or the future. So the final thing in recentering is understanding that sometimes our mind goes to these alternative realities of, right now, I could be in the Bahamas sipping a mimosa, or I could be out with my friends partying and drinking, or I could be eating right now, but instead I'm sitting in this meeting. I could be hanging out with my kids, but right now I'm blah, blah, blah. Right now I'm hanging out with my kids, but I could be, on a beach somewhere, right? So there's basically a split where part of your attention is being sent out to a place that is other than here. So your attention is actually going to other places, other locations, other alternative universes rather than in this present moment, right? All of these are sending your energy and scattering your energy to other places, which starts to make your mind more chaotic, which starts to make yourself feel less in control, more destabilized. And the reason why you're destabilized is because you have sent energy outside of your locus of control. So in order to return to your locus of control, we actually need to distinguish between what is within locus of control and what is outside of the locus of control. And we can do this together by asking 3 questions. So if you want to do this with me right now, think about something that is bothering you, think about something that's upsetting you or something that's triggering you. And now we're going to ask 3 questions with regards to this thing. So take a moment to think of something that's upsetting you, something that's bothering you. And now we're going to ask 3 questions. The first, is this mine? So by asking, is this mine? We are distinguishing between what is ours to own, what we have direct control over, and things that belong to other people or society or other beings other than ourselves. Is this mine? So now, again, we're going to think about the thing that's bothering us. Think about the thing that's bothering us. Think about the thing that we're upset about. Think about the problem. And now we're going to ask the question, is this now? For all of these, you're going to get a yes or no answer that pops into your head. Allow yourself to connect with the first answer. Again, is this now? Finally, the third question, is this here? And by asking this question, you are returning to here rather than alternate realities, alternate universes. Is this here? So, as you can see, by asking these three questions, we return our energy to the current locus of control, and it changes our perspective on a problem or whatever is disturbing us at the time. So rather than our energy being sent out to the future, the past, other people, other alternate realities, we're drawing all of our energy back into the present moment. And by doing this, by distinguishing between what is not us, what is not here and now, it actually gives us a more effective way to recenter. Because I think a lot of people talk about centering or centering yourself, but I think that people actually don't really know how to do that. And the way that we do that is by distinguishing between what is not self and what is not now. And I'm so excited to hear about how this impacts you. So please leave a comment. I'm very excited to know how this shifts things for you. So the next Jedi mind trick is one blanket statement to eliminate all negative thoughts. And this blanket statement is, all negative thoughts are wrong. So any negative thought that you have, you can understand that all negative thoughts are wrong. And this is because all negative thoughts arise from a perspective. So when you shift that negative perspective, you shift the negative thought. That it is a perspective which is causing you to have these negative thoughts in the first place. So all negative thoughts are wrong. That was easy. So because of this, we can use a negative thought to actually identify a negative perspective. If you have a negative thought, it is necessarily arising from an incorrect or damaging perspective. So if you have the negative thought, go deeper and examine the perspective from which it is arising, and that will eliminate the negative thought. So we can do this together again. And I'm going to have you think of something that's bothering you. Maybe it's a different thing. Maybe we've already resolved it. And so I want you to look at this thing that's bothering you or this negative thought that you're having. And now say to yourself, all negative thoughts are wrong. And then now we can assess this negative thought. So this negative thought is going to be necessarily arising from a damaging perspective. Usually this perspective has to do with some kind of resistance to reality. In what way are you resisting your current reality? So, for example, let's say that I have gained some weight and I feel negative about this. Well, why is there any negativity? I can look however I want. I can look anyway. And, you know, I'm great either way. Why is any one shape better than any other shape? I mean, I don't think that a circle is inferior to a triangle or that a triangle is inferior to a square. So why would it matter that I have one body shape or another body shape? I might have a body shape that I prefer. I might have a body shape that I feel that is more aligned with who I am. But a circle is not inherently better than a square. One body shape is not inherently better than any other body shape. So you see, this is me shifting my perspective in order to change my reaction to a particular thought. So now we're going to talk about the third and final Jedi mind trick that I'm going to share with you. And this is feeling and expressing emotion. So a lot of people think that negative thoughts just happen on their own and thoughts are separate from emotions. But actually, negative thoughts arise from negative emotions. So if you are having negative thoughts, it's actually because you have a negative emotion and the negative thought is arising from that negative emotion. So in order to process the negative thoughts, you can rid yourself of these negative thoughts en masse by processing the emotion related to it. When you process the underlying emotion, it eliminates the negative thoughts en masse. So here's how you can do that. It's almost like a radio frequency. At a certain radio frequency, there's certain thoughts. At a different radio frequency, there's different thoughts. So if you have a certain energetic frequency that's being stored in your body, that energetic frequency attracts certain thoughts to it. So when you process and release that energy, you are actually clearing all of these negative thoughts from your mind at once. And energy leaves the body in 4 different forms, and that is through movement, sound, vibration, and fluid. These are the ways that energy leaves the body. So to give you an example, if you're crying, you might huddle in the fetal position, shake, and make the sound of crying and have tears streaming down your face. The movement of holding yourself, the action of holding yourself is the movement. The sound of the crying is sound leaving your body. The vibration of you shaking is the vibration, and the tears are the fluid through which energy is leaving your body. Energy can also leave other fluids like sweat, tears, spit, vomit. These are other ways that energy leaves the body. This is why when people do ayahuasca, oftentimes they will purge and vomit. And this seems very horrible to outsiders, but what is happening is that energy is being cleared from the body. Energy is leaving the body through the fluid of the vomit. The issue with emotional expression is that our society has told us not to do it. Our society tells us that we are more manly, we are more womanly, we are more strong, we are more adult if we are not expressing emotion, if we're not feeling, if we're not all of these things. But by not expressing your emotions, you're actually kind of constipating your system from releasing energy, from processing energy, from digesting energy. And when you do not digest this energy, you become plagued by a swarm of negative thoughts. So in this way, you can clear a bunch of them at once. And I'm going to stop here because I could go on for longer in regards to this, and I'd like to do an exercise with you in the future about processing emotion and how to do that effectively, and how to reconnect with emotion once you've cut yourself off from it. But with these 3 tricks, with these 3 Jedi mind tricks, you're going to find that your emotional world shifts dramatically. And I'm very excited to hear about everything that you discover from doing this. So I'm very excited to hear about how this affects you because it's pretty advanced stuff and I would say that this is like the cutting edge as far as my own experience of shifting my internal state. And so I'm so excited to hear about how it affects you. So I will leave you to the next podcast and I look forward to seeing you then.